everyone, and welcome to Cozying Up with the Clear Cut, where we get up close and personal with women that inspire us. Today, we have the sister duo, Scout and Mady, behind Okay Sis Podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
I'm intimidated to be on the other side because you guys are the pros.
Oh, please. So we had Olivia on our podcast.
Yes.
It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was fun. We had wine. It was a nice time. I should have offered you guys some wine.
We talked for an hour afterwards. Yeah. I feel like we had a 2-part series off mic.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Definitely. So Okay Sis is a really fun podcast. You have a ton of really amazing women. I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but you have other amazing women as your guests, and it's a really fun time. I feel like it's not serious. It's you really get to know people. How did you guys, let's start from the beginning. How did you guys find yourselves here doing this? Tell me all about where you guys from. What's your journey been?
Mm-hmm. So we're from San Diego, and we were born and raised in San Diego, and I still live there. Mads lives in LA, so I come up to LA every other week to podcast because commitment.
And is San Diego far from LA?
It's 2.5 hours.
Oh, so that is a commitment.
Yeah. You should remember that every time.
It's a schlep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you come to LA probably because there are more guests in LA?
Yeah, the caliber of guests is obviously a little higher here. Yeah. So, and we can tap into the people that we really are reaches, I think. But talk a little bit about your first podcast.
So I used to live, this is really random, I used to live next to a wholesale produce market.
Okay.
And they, for whatever reason, had a media company, and they opened up a podcasting studio.
It was so weird.
It was so random.
Wholesale
it made no
produce
sense.
company?
Yes.
It made no sense.
And I knew all the girls there because I shopped there all the time.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, can I get in there? Is there a slot available? And they said yes. And so I had my own podcast for a year, and I was feeling as if it was a little stale. It wasn't growing in the...
What was it about? What was it called?
It was called Podcast by Scout, and it was just also interviewing female entrepreneurs, a lot about spirituality and mental health, but something about it wasn't feeding my soul, and it wasn't moving in the direction that I wanted it to. Mm-hmm. And Mads and I were at the Ojai Valley Inn and Spa for her birthday, and we had one too many rosés.
As one does.
Yes. And I didn't have an episode for the next week, so I asked her if she would hop on the podcast, and I had no equipment. So I said, let's just record it on my phone, and we found the business center of the Ojai Valley Inn and Spa.
Which we didn't know still exists.
Yes, there are
business centers.
Yeah.
We were
where there's a fax machine.
Yeah, we were who the fuck is in here?
And we told the lobby people to not let anybody in.
Yeah, we were please lock up the business center. They were okay.
And no one's going in the business center.
Yeah, no one's going. It's PCs. No one's in there.
No one's in there. And we had the best time. And it took me a few weeks to realize that the energy that we had together was so infectious and made me feel really filled up. And so I asked her, I was actually in France, and I was texting you. I was on a work trip, and I asked her, I was like, hey, do you want to start a podcast? She said yes, and we launched literally weeks later.
And when was that?
Almost a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That quick?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I feel like it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
I think something that we've been able to achieve is the women that have come on to our podcast. We've been extremely fortunate, and you can attest to this. When you come on Okay Sis, it's not very PR-y or promotional,
100%.
and we're not buttoned up, but we still want to highlight your accomplishments and what you're trying to achieve with your company and all these amazing things. But we want to bring some brevity and some laughter into it, and have that silly banter that you feel when we're
and
sisters.
Did you know that when you guys were going into it that was your vision for the podcast?
Honestly, no. We just kind of were we're sisters. Let's talk. Let's chat. We want to.
She was really nervous in the beginning because she didn't think, she thought the space was too saturated. She thought she had nothing to say, and I was like, let's discard that bullshit. And then,
well, I feel like that's whenever you try to do something new, right? It's always other people are already doing this. Why would anyone want to listen to me?
Right.
Or follow me or do whatever. And I feel like it's all about finding your niche and like really speaking to like a specific audience, because there are like millions of podcasts out there, but it's all about finding the people that relate to you, right?
Absolutely.
It's not about catering to everyone. It's just finding like your community.
Yeah. And something also that I love about podcasts, and I'm a big podcast aficionado, so that was also why I was a little scared to enter the space, because I was like, am I going to do the, medium justice? But a lot of podcasts that I love are just listening to people talking about even whatever. There are some podcasts where I will just listen to the person talk. I don't even give a shit what they're talking about. I don't even know what the topic is. I just love their thoughts and their observations and the way they interpret the world. And so sometimes like we like recap The Bachelor. How many fucking podcasts recap The Bachelor? But
I love it.
But it's like, I think we have this fun spin on it. And I think that's what a lot of women need to take away when they are trying to make a new Instagram or create a podcast. Like, yes, it might be saturated, but that doesn't matter. Like, you can find a little space for your voice.
The Clear Cut, I was like, there are so many jewelry accounts on Instagram. Right. Like, why would anyone follow me? And you are reluctant to start it, but Kyle was like, just do it. Like, see what happens. A worst case scenario, no one follows you, and you just like move on to the next thing, but you got to try it, right? Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of where Scout has pushed me a lot. I've always been a little more risk averse, and I'm like, okay, let's like plan everything out before we launch and and this has been more of a like, let's jump off the cliff and like see if some like a parachute exists or just like comes out of the blue. Best things happen that way. We always say, and like amongst ourselves, like if you aren't embarrassed by your launch, then you waited too long.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
You just gotta put shit out
just
and
do
like
it.
and tweak it and improve it like as you go and like figure it out on the fly, right?
Well, also we didn't even understand our relationship, I think, fully before we started. I mean, we've always been close. We're 3 years apart, whatever, but there's always been, I mean, before we started the podcast, we would go 2 weeks without talking sometimes, which is mind-blowing. I know, because we literally talk every fucking second of every day now. So, but that's also what you can tell with the podcast is that even, I mean, I like our first episode, it's fine. But you can
Who was your first episode's guest?
It was just us.
It was just us. But our first guest, her name was Jade Iveen, and she had started this beauty blog that she was launching, and she was a friend of a friend. And that's kind of a big tip for us, like when you're starting out a podcast and you want to get guests, like just reach out within your network. And I think I didn't even realize like how great my network was, and I never had use to use it in this way, if that makes sense. Like there were just people that I was like, oh, I could interview them for a podcast, and that would be a way to touch base with them, or instead of like inviting them out to lunch, which is like kind of burdensome on some people, just saying like, hey, you want to come on my podcast, you can promote your shit, and then like we can
have a great episode
and like be friends now. Like it's just, we become like friends with all of these guests. It's been incredible. And what has been like your favorite thing about doing this podcast together, and what has been like one of the most challenging things?
The favorite thing, I mean,
she was like, let me take a breath.
I would say I say this and I really don't mean it to be cheesy, but at the end of the day, my favorite thing is the relationship I have with her. It is so, I could like literally cry. And she's not like this towards me, but it's fine. She will.
I'm the little sister.
Our relationship, I can't love someone more, like as much as I love, my husband and my dad and my mom. But
and your dog.
And my dog. But our relationship has grown so significantly. Yeah. And then the other favorite part is obviously meeting incredible women like you and just expanding our network in that way.
Yeah. And challenging. Challenges we've faced, I think, being sisters,
don't you fight?
So we don't fight. It's just more like there's no bullshit. Like we don't need to sugarcoat anything. It's more so just, hey, I don't like this, and end of discussion, move on. Or, we don't have to beat around the bush like you would in a normal work environment where you're like, am I going to hurt this person's feelings or like take and consider that way. But, which has been, I think, both something that's challenging because I can kind of have an attitude sometimes, I think, but she knows me so well.
When I walk in a room and Mads has an attitude, it's just like, just be quiet for a while. You know what I mean? Like
she'll come out of it.
She'll come out of it. We know how to.
You know each other like so well that you can like manage
exactly.
each other. And I know in your podcast you ask all of your guests their fixations, right? Can I ask you guys, do you have any fixations? I didn't prepare you for this.
Oh, no. I have a running list of like 5. at all times.
What's yours?
Okay, so my current fixation at the moment is this new what is it called? Essential oil.
Okay.
It's a brand called Campo. And it was
I feel
at
like
the
I've seen
Vince
it.
store. It's like very trendy looking,
Okay.
like a little expensive, but it's amazing. So I've liked essential oils. Scout is like very, very much into essential oils. But this one is sandalwood and bergamot. So
Okay.
it smells like Lulaba. Like it smells
Yeah.
like Santal. So I just it's like a roll on and you go like this and it's energy. So it's like supposed to,
I'm
boost
into
you.
that.
And I put it on in the morning and it just like, and it's cheaper than Santal. So
Oh, there
Are you
go.
wearing it right
there you
now?
go. I am, but it fades like quickly.
I was like,
so.
nice and
I know. I should have put it on right now, but sorry. But that is like my current fixation. It's such a good way. It's a grounding way, but it also like helps in the morning to like get you kind of fired up.
So it's not like a perfume. It's like an essential oil to
Roll
like
on.
help you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like a roll on oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used the only time I've dabbled in essential oils is I was gifted this lavender and I would put it in this spray bottle with some water on my pillows
Pillow?
before bed and I got like addicted to it. It
Oh,
was like
yeah.
bad. I was like, I gotta like wean myself off of this.
I mean, there's worse things to be addicted
that's
to.
true. That's very
so
true.
I'm not worried.
So my current fixation right now is that I have started every single morning. So a bunch of people say don't look at your phone in the morning, and I was
Yeah.
really resistant to that. And I was like, I really love looking at my phone in the morning. But I decided to give this practice a try. It's called the morning pages, where the first thing you do, I wake up, I don't look at my phone, I get my coffee, I sit down, and
How do you know what time it is?
Well, I look at well my
Wait,
alarm clock.
alarm,
The
yeah.
I know what time I'm waking
You
up.
just
and
have to
then
be. You have to be
Don't
good about
check
not
Instagram
even.
or
Yeah.
you can look at the time, but you just can't like read a text or whatever. And
Oh,
then
God.
I sit
That's
with my journal and I just write for 2 pages, one to 3 pages depending on the day. And I've been in therapy for 14 years now. I have never felt more connected or like in a self-realization mode than I am in the morning when I'm writing, because the coffee hasn't hit. I haven't thought about anything.
And what do you write about?
You just write whatever. Like
It's
sometimes
like a
I
brain
write my
dump.
dreams. Sometimes I write what I'm feeling. Sometimes I write my
Interesting.
goals. It's just I don't think about it too hard. Like you're not supposed to think, what am I going to write about right now? You're just supposed to go and just
Yeah.
stream of consciousness. And I have felt more connected, inspired, and focused in the last few days since doing this, that now I go to bed excited to wake up in the morning to have my journal time in the morning.
I feel like you can get a lot of like creative juices
you get
flowing.
so creative.
Like you get all your ideas.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it really,
then.
because
Yeah.
it's like, it's this weird trance almost, because you're not fully awake, and
Yeah.
so you're more of your subconscious, where there's not that ability to judge yourself or analyze yourself or let anything other external stimuli kind of affect what you're writing. It's just purely you in like the back of your brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what's really going on.
I feel like that is very disciplined, and everyone's always asking like, what is your morning routine? Like, and I have no morning routine. I literally will snooze until I can, the last second, check my Instagram and like get out the door.
But honestly, like we have been trying to reverse that stigma of, because I think there's just so much pressure on a morning routine or a right way or a formula for success. Like if that
Yes.
works for you, then fuck, that works for you.
But that's,
You
like,
know.
can I do better?
But-
I don't know.
No, but if-
Everyone can always do that.
Exactly, but it's just like to put that pressure. If that's
It's a lot of
really just
pressure, yeah.
if that's really just like how your body operates, then just
I feel
relax.
like maybe I'll try.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna counter Mads. I would say try it, because
Yeah.
I feel like we often say like, well, that's just, that's overwhelming, or that, no, so you don't do it, and then you don't give yourself that gift of maybe finding something that could
Yes.
really work for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but don't do it if it doesn't work for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
At
I've
least
tried.
try
it.
I've tried being like the person that like wakes up and like works out in the morning, and everyone's like, you feel like you have so much more energy, and like the day is just like amazing. And I realized after trying that I'm not a morning workout person. I'm
That's
like,
totally
That's fine.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess the best thing to do is like test
Just
it
test it out.
just like with
Yeah.
anything.
like
and,
I
see how-
am a morning workout person. Like I cannot.
You are?
I cannot work out in the nighttime for the life.
Oh
of
my
me.
god, I
It's
could
just
like work
weird.
out at like 10 o'clock at night. and
Oh
be
my
like,
God.
So you're more
Never.
of a night person.
Yeah, but I'm
And that's-
forced to be a morning person because of society.
Yeah, I hear you.
Fuck society.
That's awesome. I didn't come up with a fixation,
Well,
but
just you can do it.
I do have one though.
Great.
because it just came to me. Because we're talking about like sleeping and like all that stuff,
Yes.
and I'm like addicted to silk
Yes.
eye masks. And now
Great.
I want to get a pillowcase because everyone's telling me it's amazing. But I was gifted one, and it's like this thing now. I can't sleep without it, and I have like this. It's just like made my life so much better.
Yes. Okay, I have some questions about this.
Okay.
What do you do with your skincare though? Does it rub off on your thing?
So the first time I put it on, I had like eye cream on,
Right.
and then it like got on it. So I was like, okay, now I have to make sure that I put it on and like let things dry
So
before
good.
I
Yeah,
put it
before you
on. And then
Yeah.
I have to like wash the eye mask a lot because I just want to make sure I'm not putting like bacteria back on my face.
Right.
That was like a problem because I got lazy and like didn't do that.
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit.
That's the same with your pillowcases. They do. So I have a silk pillowcase.
Dude, I still need to get on that train. I'm
Yeah,
still
so it's
not on
really
that
good for
train.
your hair too,
Yeah.
and your skin. But like I have, ever since I got into skincare, I have like trained myself to sleep like a mummy, and I
Well,
lay down.
that is,
I
like,
lay down like
do
this,
you
and I
want-
don't move.
Do you want to enjoy your life?
I am
or-
like J-Lo. J-Lo sleeps like this, and she has pillows like this, so
Yes.
she doesn't move.
I've
And
been
that's
doing-
how I sleep.
I put pillows like on either side so I
Yeah.
don't like
Move.
get wrinkles
You don't
and
move.
stuff.
Look, what
Just
the
get
fuck
Botox.
are we doing?
Just fucking get Botox.
Do you want to give me some money for Botox?
Yes, I will if you will just sleep like a normal human being.
So you sleep on
Sorry.
your back. That's a healthier way, right?
Yeah. I used to be a stomach sleeper with head like
Oh,
this.
no, that is
And then
the
my
worst.
pillow got all gross with all my serums, and I was like,
I am
I
a
ain't spending-
stomach sleeper,
I'm
and I
spending-
sleep like a fucking baby.
I understand. I don't care about the quality of sleep. The serums are expensive,
Yes.
and I do not want them to be wasted
I
on the
agree.
pillow.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
have differing opinions.
Yeah,
I will get Botox till I'll just keep getting,
And sleep on your stuff.
and sleep on your stuff.
And so where do you see, like, what are your goals in the next 5 years, let's say, like with
Woo.
Okay Sis or
Yeah.
in general in life?
So definitely with Okay Sis, we're working towards creating more of a 360 brand. So we just launched our newsletter. We have our
I
first
saw
live event. I don't know when this comes out, but we have our first live event on January 31st at the Dream Hollywood Hotel with Cassie and Michelle Randolph,
From
which
The
we're really
Bachelor.
excited. So we want to do a lot more live events. We
And
want
what's the live event gonna consist of? Like a podcast in front of like a live audience?
Yes.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we're doing it in the lobby at the Dream Hollywood Hotel, sponsored by House Wine. So we'll have like rosé there. Everyone can take cute photos, and then we'll just do the live
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah, so like a community building like
Yeah,
extras.
and we
Yeah.
want to, do merch one day, and then
Oh my God, you would have, like,
tour, and-
really funny
So you don't want to do
merch.
a tour with me? You don't want to go on? You don't want to travel with me? No. Okay.
I feel like you would have like really funny merch. Like you could like make good stuff.
Yeah.
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 We just want to create like a more. I mean, we have our secret Facebook group, and the girls now that are in the sisterhood are talking to one another and meeting one another, which is really cool to see. We just want to expand it past just
Just
know
the
us
audio.
interviewing people and really getting engaged with
A
our community.
conversation with your community.
Yeah.
So it's not like you just telling them what's going on. but,
Totally.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we always ask our guests, what is your spark? So that's basically like that fire inside of you that keeps you like hustling and innovating and, you know, going and growing. What's your spark?
Yeah, I would say my spark is to make sure that each of my days feel really fulfilled. So I have, as I mentioned before, spent way too many days depressed. Like I've had so much of my life taken from me. And so right now, what just gets me up in the morning is knowing that I have the control over my life to design it in whatever way I want it to look like. And what really gets me going is coming up with an idea, a business or a brand, and then implementing it. So we have Okay Sis that we work on all the time. I have my own PR agency for women that I work on. And being able to be kind of the director of my schedule and figuring out how best to work out my life financially, fulfillment, passionate, creativity, business, and making this puzzle piece work together on a daily basis, mixed in with self-improvement and mental health. That's kind of what gets me going, knowing that I'm fighting or I'm waking up for myself every day and
That's
waking up
awesome.
for my future every day.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, thanks. Ooh, can you top that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I think I could echo a lot of that in my life as well. Like I am in pursuit of being a multi-hyphenate, I think, and I think I am right now. I have a full-time job. I work at a tech startup, and then I
Cool.
have Okay Sis, and then I'm also starting my own mobile app company, and then I
Whoa.
also run a book club every month. So it's just like
How do you have the time? How do you
Yeah.
find the time to do all
You
of
always,
these things?
you always have the time if you want to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Like when someone says I don't have the time, it's just because
you don't want to do it it.
You don't want to do it.
You don't have the motivation.
It's like
to
when
do
you have
it.
a friend who's like, I'm just too busy. It's like, you don't want to get dinner with me. It's
Yeah,
okay.
you don't want to get dinner. Like if it was but if it was like a serious priority, like I consider myself a very busy person, but if it's a priority, like
and you want to do it, like you make it
Yeah.
happen.
make it happen.
Like, Okay Sis to me doesn't feel like work. I mean,
No.
it takes up a lot of time,
much time.
and I'm just like
Like
we
when
just-
I'm like resting on the weekend, if I do Okay Sis work, I still think I'm resting on the
yeah,
weekend.
it's like not work for us. So I think in that aspect, when you find something like that where it doesn't feel like you're putting in hours, it's just like, oh wow, this is like what you should be actually doing with your life. So
Yeah.
that's something that excites me. I think getting up and having those types of passions and having these like multiple side hustles. I mean, reading is a huge thing for both Scout and I. We're huge bibliophiles, and so we read constantly, and that's something we've always been into. I think exercising for me is something that's very integral to my life. It's the only thing that will just
It
like
can be like therapy.
it is therapy. Oh, and therapy. Yeah, I mean, we gotta go. We have to go to therapy.
you
So
don't want to see us without it.
yeah, no. But no, working out is something I do it solely for my mental clarity.
Yeah.
It's not really like a physical thing for me. And I mean to be stronger, but it's just
Yeah, you're
there's.
fucking strong.
I am strong. I could beat her up.
Yeah, you should.
2019 was great. How am I going to make 2020 better? You know,
Yeah.
it's like, it's a lot of pressure.
Right. So
I
just
feel
why
like
not
It's
it's
really
just
just the next day.
Yeah.
it's just
the
a
next
It's just
day.
a continuation, but there's like all this pressure to be like,
Pressure.
now this year, what are you going to do?
I don't
Yeah.
make New Year's resolutions.
Me neither.
No, we
I
don't do- we
because
don't
I
really.
because then you delay it until January 1st. You know, if you just get, it's like
Just do it
it's like
today,
a diet.
yeah.
It's like a diet, right? Like if you stick to this one diet, then you're gonna binge, and then you're gonna do this. But if you
Right.
just have a healthy lifestyle that continues every single day,
Yeah,
so if
you
have
shouldn't
a-
have to wait to improve yourself.
Yeah,
Like
if
you
you
should
have a
just be improving all the
self-growth
time.
mindset.
All my friends are like doing dry January. I'm
No,
like,
fuck that.
Okay,
I-
no.
If you have to do dry January, you have
There's a
you have a
problem.
drinking problem.
Yeah,
Like just
yeah.
fucking like
be sober.
just no what?
just
like if you have a drinking problem,
Don't be
be
so-
sober.
Oh, yes. What I'm saying is like dry January, it's like then you need to look at your drinking habits. Like I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Like if you can't like
Yes.
if
no,
you
I'm
can't
with
like
you.
casually have a glass of wine
then
at your
there's something
leisure,
wrong.
Yes.
Something wrong.
I spent the first 2 weeks of this year eating whatever the fuck I want
Yeah.
and like drinking and not working out. So I was like, well, I fucked up this whole year already, so I might as well
No.
start
Like
next year.
now,
This year doesn't count.
Yeah, 2020 is already
yeah,
ruined.
already fucked up. I love it.
So we give all of our guests spark rings. So these rings are just daily reminders to keep hustling and keep going and don't give up.
And they're gold.
And they're
We
gold.
love them.
If they don't fit you, we will send you one in your proper size, but we just
fat
I
brought
have
one.
fat fingers.
Yeah.
Let me see which one it'll fit on.
Nope. Oh wait.
Oh,
hold
we're
on.
good. We're good. It's added every day.
So, like the spark ring has like a little bit of extra meaning. I think a lot of jewelry pieces, you know, can have sentimental value and a lot more meaning beyond just like a beautiful piece. And it doesn't even have to be like the most expensive piece. So, did you guys bring any jewelry that's special to you?
Also, I just want to point out that I was driving here and I was thinking about jewelry and all of my jewelry.
Yes.
And in like the fashion beauty space, jewelry is really the only thing that carries a very generational story.
Yes.
So like,
Anything can be an heirloom.
like my mom has purchased plenty of t-shirts for me, but none of those I'm like keeping forever to, you know what I mean? But like every piece of jewelry my mom's bought for me, there's a story and there's a meaning, and I think that's so cool.
And
you
it's
know?
more special.
It's
yeah.
so special. What did you bring?
Oh, you're
Oh, you
not
want me
going
to go
first? Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, every single piece that I am wearing right now has a very significant message to me. My mom gave me this. This was my 18th birthday present. This is a gift I gave one of my best friends. And this is my birthday present for my husband, but obviously I have to go with my engagement ring.
Yes.
I will just go on the record and say I'm sorry to my husband. I micromanaged the entire engagement and
That's
ring
how
process.
everything happens these days.
Yes, but it was
Women should not feel bad if you want to micromanage and
my
design
God.
your own
It
ring.
worked out really great for me.
I'm
You
gonna
should get
literally
exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna literally give my boyfriend
That's what I did. We went
piece,
together.
like a photo.
So it's a hexagon halo, and what I wanted something really different in my ring. I wanted it to be a little bit edgier, a little bit vintage. This is, people tell me it's Art Deco. I didn't know that, but I love Art Deco, so it works.
So what is your piece?
Okay, so I obviously am not married, so I don't have something very, significant as significant as
fine.
that. But I think so I wear all these rings every day, and it's become like I feel like I'm a collector. Like I'm just collecting gold rings at this point.
Yes.
But I think what's most significant are these two. I interned for a designer. Her name is Jennifer Meyer.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes, and that was my introduction to
jewelry.
luxury line of jewelry and actually being, seeing the value of it and understanding like how gorgeous they can be. Like I remember as an intern, I was like packing up these like diamonds and this, and I was just like, oh my God, I would just look at it sometimes and just like it just there was the first time I was exposed to like this like gorgeous stones, and I had that more kinship. Before I wasn't really into jewelry, and I think I
wasn't really into jewelry when I was younger. And my parents were in it, and I was like, why would anyone like buy a diamond? They'd be like, shut your mouth, this is how you eat. Like,
exactly.
And now I'm like addicted. I think as you get older and like you have more like places to wear it too, it becomes like you get more into it.
Exactly.
We asked you guys what kind of jewelry, like your personal style is very like minimalist, gold, and I know
All
you
gold.
like mentioned to me that you like maybe a simple like sideways diamond on a gold chain.
Yes.
And we happen to have exactly that. So
What?
Oh my God.
What?
I will show you. This is our East-West emerald.
That is
gorgeous. That's literally what
I
exactly.
was like, perfect. I have this.
Oh my God.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
That's so her. You nailed it on the dot.
oh my God, it's gorgeous.
So it's an emerald cut set East-West on just like a simple gold chain. I love it. I was wearing it earlier today, just like stacked with necklaces, and I love like layering little gold pieces
beautiful.
too.
Yeah.
Thanks you guys for coming
Thank
on.
you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
This is a
This
blast.
is awesome. I was like, I know they're going to be such a great time. I'm so excited. Tell everyone, where can people like follow you, find you, listen to you guys?
Totally.
Yeah, you can find us at Okay Sis Podcast on Instagram. That's OKAYSAS. And then you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, Okay Sis. And then if you want more information about our newsletter and our secret Facebook group, you can go to OKSisPodcast.com and everything's up there.
And then everyone can come to your live events and everything.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you can RSVP. The RSVP link is in our Instagram bio.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. And if you guys want to see all the beautiful jewels that we were just looking at, check out our YouTube at The Clear Cut. And of course, follow our Instagram at The Clear Cut. See you guys next week. Bye.